Hello and welcome. I'm Renee Ruiz, Area Director of Business Development here at Civitas Senior Living. And I am here with Jennifer Prescott, the founder and COO of Blue Water Home Care and Hospice here in Austin, Texas. Welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
We are here doing our wellness video for the month of June. The topic is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. So Jennifer,
Yes.
Your involvement here, well, one, you're just a very well-connected individual here in Austin. You're involved in so many different organizations, nonprofit, and then you're running your own business. Tell me your involvement here with Alzheimer's. I know that you're on the board.
I am. So I'm on the board of the Alzheimer's Association of Central Texas. I've been a member, for probably about 6 years. I took a year and a half off and during the COVID time, and I'm somebody who does education for them. I do support groups. We have a VA support group. So if anyone's looking for support and you are caring for someone that's a veteran, we have a once a month support group that is done in conjunction with the VA in Temple.
Great.
And it's really been wonderful. And we also do quarterly educational series as well that I've been doing them as well. They take about an hour. So if you're looking for more information, there's a deep dive that we do. It's once a quarter and it's 4 different sessions. It's kind of surprising. There's 400,000 people in Texas that have Alzheimer's disease. And one of the things that we've known is that there are, by the year 2025, they think that we're going up to 490,000 people that are going to be impacted just in Texas alone.
This is a significant climb.
It is, and I think one of the things I do hospice, and so we've seen a lot of our patients actually have Alzheimer's or a type of related dementia. There's actually 6 million people in the United States that have diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and 11.3 million people care for them that are unpaid. That's why I got associated with the Alzheimer's Association initially, is that I was a nurse and I was caring for a lot of people, and I saw the impact of Alzheimer's disease on families. And I love the opportunity to, I think that, education is really powerful.
Absolutely.
For patients and their families and for them to be planning. So I'm really excited to talk to you today because I know we're going to talk about some, things that would indicate someone may have some memory disorders and may have Alzheimer's.
Absolutely. That's great. So there's confusion out there, right?
There is.
Alzheimer's, dementia. What is the difference?
Sure. So Alzheimer's is the most common type of dementia.
Okay.
So there are other types of dementia out there, but the most common is Alzheimer's. And so unfortunately, there isn't a cure for Alzheimer's. And so being a part of the board, we do a lot of things to raise money and raise awareness and, hopefully find a cure. And I'm really excited that there's a lot of medications out there now that have been approved and are going through approval, and there's lots of trials, a lot of things to be excited about because there's no cure for Alzheimer's and so many families are impacted.
Yeah, and with these growing numbers. So on that note, what are the warning signs? What are the 10 warning signs that you kind of see out there?
There's a lot of warning signs.
Sure.
Memory loss is one of the most common things. And so I would say that with the thing that, stress is something that impacts people. So if you're having little bits of this happen to you, don't automatically think that you have Alzheimer's or dementia.
Right.
But you want to keep in check.
Sure.
So the next thing is difficulty planning. So those executive function things. I tell people all the time, think about how long it takes you to plan to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And so there's I think I did it. It was 40 steps or something, to plan to go to the grocery store, to get your keys, get in the car, go grocery shopping, and all of the things associated with it. And so those are some of the things that we see with people with Alzheimer's is that they have difficulty with that executive functioning.
Okay.
Some of the other things are difficulty completing tasks.
Okay.
So one of the most common things is that you go into someone's home and what do they want to do? Offer you a drink, right? Cup of coffee.
Right.
So if you go and you visit your mom or your grandma or grandpa and they normally give you coffee, what happens? They look at the coffee pot, they know they need to do something with it, but they don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
And so that's one of those common things because it's a action that they've done all the time, but they don't know how to do it now. One of the other things are confusion with place and time.
Okay.
And so, they're usually people stay oriented to person very long into their disease process.
Okay.
But when they start not knowing kind of where they are and what, either day of the week, month, what holiday is coming up, seasons, absolutely.
Yeah.
One of those things are really important.
Okay.
The other thing is like visual issues. And so one of the things I would say is if like you are walking around the car of your loved one and you're noticing that, they used to be a really good driver and all of a sudden there's like bumps and there's scratches and dings. That's one of those things. And the reason is because they have visual issues and spatial issues, and they have problems with their peripheral vision. So that's one of those things that you want to look at for someone. The other things that get really scary are like poor judgment. And so the scary things with that are, if they're giving out their personal information, their bank account numbers, their social security cards, that can be really scary.
Absolutely.
And they can start to, seniors are very vulnerable, so we want to make sure that they're well taken care of. And so poor judgment can really lead to an unsafe situation.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but they get a call from some random person with the bank. It could be anybody.
Oh, and
right?
they could just say, "Oh, I'm
Scammers.
so-and-so from X bank." Scammers. It's really bad.
So sad.
And it's really sad. And so, if you have a family member that has some cognitive impairment, you want to make sure that you actually are entwining yourself into their lives so that you can make sure that they're not, because they are definitely at risk.
Yeah,
100%.
Taken advantage of.
Exactly. Poor judgment with medications. That's one of the scary things. They don't recognize when they're supposed. We had that with my mother-in-law. She wasn't taking her medications. And even though we put him in a pill planner, that was the next step. We noticed she stopped taking it. And so we had to and that was one of the indications that she was unsafe living by herself.
So tell me some of the things we can do to prevent Alzheimer's.
So I think some of the things to prevent Alzheimer's and with good brain health, the first thing is a good diet. They definitely talk about, a Mediterranean diet. So eating things, that are, healthy, fresh vegetables, not processed foods and things like that. Also exercise. And that they really want you at least 3 to 5 days or plus and 30 to 60 minutes each time. That doesn't mean you have to do CrossFit or lifting 100-pound weights or 250-pound weights, but it's just walking is fabulous. The other thing is really keeping your mind engaged.
How do you do that?
So, it can be hard sometimes for seniors. So I think crossword puzzles, even watching Jeopardy on TV is great because that makes you think. Whatever activities that they enjoy doing. So if they were painters, so maybe they painted before, or that was an interest of theirs, you could, get them involved. A painting class. Absolutely. Any of those things to try to keep, those neurons, connected and firing.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. So what are some ways that we can get involved, to help?
I know. Well, the Alzheimer's Association, so we have a 24-hour helpline, and I'm really excited about that. It's actually, the 24-hour helpline is amazing. So it's alz.org is how you get there.
All right.
We'll actually give you the phone number on the screen, so it's going to be there.
It's running across there at the bottom now.
And so 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can actually talk to a licensed professional that can help you.
That's terrific.
So at 2 o'clock in the morning, when you're taking care of someone that maybe is having, a difficulty, and maybe you're having a difficulty, you have someone to talk to.
That's terrific.
So and there's lots of resources available. There's a trialmatch.com that will actually, you can go in there and find out what trials are actually in your area.
And see if you can become
and
part of that
see if
study.
you can be a part of that study,
that's
which is great. I mean, it's really wonderful, and they can do it based on where you live.
Terrific.
The other thing is if you're looking to volunteer. So we love volunteers.
Yes,
I volunteered for
that.
a really long time.
And
so we do educational volunteers, we do support group volunteers, and you can also volunteer in like the longest day. So the longest day, it is. So on June 20th, it's actually the summer solstice. And if you think about, some days it feels really long for people who are taking care of someone with Alzheimer's.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so you can do whatever you want on that day. You can sign up through the website, and it's the longest day. And you can do whatever you want. So we're actually planning in my house, and I'm going to be inviting a bunch of people. We're going to do charcuterie boards, like a make your own charcuterie board class. And so we're going to raise money, and of course probably drink a little wine.
Love that.
And who doesn't love a charcuterie board?
Sign me up for that.
I know, I am. You're going to get an invite.
I know
so
at Civitas
what you guys are
communities,
doing?
each of the communities is signing up with Alzheimer's Association. and raising funds. They're doing different activities. They're encouraging managers to dress up. Each community will do their own spin on what they're going to do for that. So Jennifer, if a loved one is recently diagnosed, how do we know when to bring in additional resources, to kind of assist you?
Sure. Well, I've lived it. I own a home care and a hospice, so Blue Water Home Care and Hospice.
Sure.
So we are a locally owned home care and hospice agency. I've been a nurse for 28 years, and my whole time in nursing, except for 1 year, was spent it's been with geriatrics.
Oh, wow.
So it's all I know.
Okay.
And so what we do is that when families call us after a diagnosis, and usually, they do well, living alone for quite some time.
Sure.
But usually we get called in when there's issues like medication management, so they need medication reminders,
Right.
they may need help from a safety perspective.
Okay.
That's one of those things. So I always tell people when I'm meeting with families that safety is the biggest thing. So if
Sure.
you think that your loved one is not safe in their home, do they need help with bathing, dressing, grooming, meal preparation, ADLs? Maybe go to doctor's appointments. They can't drive anymore. That's one of those sticky subjects is, when is it time for you to not be able to take the keys away? And that's usually a collaborative effort with the physician. It's really hard. It's really hard. When you're starting to see those things with your family members, that's a good opportunity to call us. And then as things progress, we can provide care up to 24 hours a day.
Okay.
But, sometimes that's not the best fit for people.
Sure.
And so that's where, companies like Civitas come in that have different opportunities with assisted living, memory cares, and nursing homes when need be. And there's time and places for everything. And so our job is to help with options for people.
That's
terrific. So we've had a great experience, at an assisted living with my mother-in-law.
Good.
They also have a memory care attached to it. So when that time comes, she could transition to that.
Exactly, because just because you need to move into an assisted living community and you have Alzheimer's does not mean that you're necessarily the right fit at this point.
Absolutely.
Or secure memory care. You may never get there. You may never get there.
Absolutely.
But if you do, it's nice to have them there on site.
Yes. Yeah.
I thank you so much. This was so informative and helpful. We will have the, can see at the bottom here, ways that you can get involved. You can call that number. You can call that number for assistance. You can look up the website. Jennifer, this has been a tremendous interview. I thank you so very much for your time. And I hope you all enjoyed today's program. And we hope to see you again very soon. Y'all have a good one. Take care. Bye now.